Hello everyone, welcome back to Crawford Corner. So I've done the one thing that I said that I wasn't going to do all set. I've tried Steel Aggro. I've said for the whole set that I absolutely hated this deck, mainly because I just kept losing to it. But I thought, why not, for the very last set championships, I would give it a go. And yeah, it's kind of amazing. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to take the full win today, which I was a little bit disappointed with. I lost 2-1 to my friend Gareth in the finals. He was running Ruby Amethyst. Very, very close. I was relying on him not having a copy of Pirate's Life in his hand. He had one single card in his hand. Unfortunately, it was Pirate's Life. Gareth, if you're watching this video, I'm still heartbroken from the finals. I said to him that I'm going to pass turn, and he went, well, that's game over, and went and shook my hand. And I went, oh my God, I've won. And he went, oh no, I had Pirate's Life, I win. So you've ruined my day, offended. But yeah, let's take a look at the deck list. So I went with a fairly basic copy of this deck. I wanted to go for consistency over any major tech cards, mainly because I don't have too much experience with the deck. I've played a lot of Steel Song before, but I've got a lot less experience on the aggro variant, hence why I've tried to go simple. For this, I've went mainly with 4 copies of cards in each slot. However, I did remove a copy of Calhoun and a single copy of Penny because I wanted to make room for the new Goofy. Goofy has such a nuts effect and it paid off so well today. With Goofy, whenever he's on the field, at the end of your turn, you get to remove a damage counter from any one of your characters. Any of your characters that you've removed damage from, you then get to ready, so it's a good bit of protection for your aggro characters. Now, what goes so well is Smee, because Smee's effect is at the end of your turn, you stick a damage counter on him. With this, at the end of your turn, you can put both effects into the bag, trigger Smee's first, putting the damage counter on him, and then you can activate Goofy's effect, remove the damage, and then ready Smee, which gives Smee that extra bit of protection. And if they're not running steel, it just means they can't go into any of your characters, which is absolutely crazy. So, to go through the other slots, in our 1-drop slots, we're running 4 copies of Cindy, 4 copies of Daisy, and 4 copies of Rhino. Now, with Rhino, I don't really like playing him out on the turn 1. A lot of people do go for the turn 1 Rhino into the shift line, but I feel like this is a bit of a negative play for us because you only then got 1 card on the field. For this deck, we want to spam the board out as much as possible, get loads of characters on the board, and that's what puts your opponents under pressure because they just won't have enough removal to do it. Arguably, I think I'm going to be looking for Cindy if I'm going first, and then if I'm on the draw, I'm going to be looking for Daisy. The Cindy combo of let the storm rage on and being able to take off one of their characters, not only cleaning the board, but giving you card draw advantage is so clutch. And once you have the card draw advantage and you've got the board clear, it makes it so much harder for them to be able to come back in. Of course, with purple decks, they're looking for cards like Fox or Peter Pan Rush to be able to take things out. If we at least take off the option for Fox, there's no cards on the board, so the Fox can't come in. We're protecting our characters better, and it gives us a massive advantage. For our 2 costs, we're running 3 copies of Penny, 4 copies of Piglet, and then 3 copies of Calhoun, as well as 4 copies of Doc and 4 copies of Smee. Now, I really like the 2-cost characters in this deck, and it's kind of the main way it functions. We want to get these out as quickly as possible. Arguably, I'm always going to be looking for Smee because I've got the Goofy tech, but one of my other favourite plays is to use Piglet and then go into Lady on the next turn to put down another Piglet. Using this means you're guaranteed to get additional characters on the board if one of them is taking it out, so my Piglet is still questing for a large amount, but I'm putting that additional board threat of another Piglet down. Most people are going to rely on cards like Brawl or a Song to be able to get rid of one of the Piglet, but a second, you're putting a lot of pressure there. We do have Calhoun in the deck, which is mainly in there for against purple steel decks. I wanted something to be able to challenge other quicker decks, maybe an aggro deck, or other decks which are going to get a lot of characters on the board. Calhoun is a great threat because it means their characters can't risk questing. Then I can clear their board state down while still continuing to use mine. I got a little bit unlucky today with my Docs. I was really hoping I was going to get the Lady into Doc combo, but I didn't get it one single time. In fact, I barely saw Doc today, which I was really gutted with. But the 2 times that I did get it off, it was really useful and it kept me in the game, which I was really happy with. Lady, of course, was so clutch today. I saw so many ladies, and being able to play Lady and additional character free won me so many games. Really happy with how that functioned. The 4 copies of Lawrence, I think, is a bit of an interesting one. A lot of players have limited their copies of Lawrence, went down on that count, but I always will say 4 copies of Lawrence is fantastic. Not only do I have a 4-strength body that can do damage to other characters, but it's also huge Rapunzel fuel. It's great against any Ruby deck and puts them under so much pressure because they're unlikely to be able to take out in 1 turn, so they have to rely on leaving damage on it, and that means my Rapunzel can then come down and give me a load of extra draw. I've got 4 copies of Pete, which I didn't really use too much today. Pete I tend to use for later in the game if I'm playing against a B-prep deck, just to limit them from being able to wipe my board. I used Pete, I think, once today, and apart from that, he was just ink. The deck's quick enough that we don't really need to rely on Pete. It's only if we don't hit our proper curve that you do have to use Pete and try and protect yourself to last out to the rest of the game. Like I said before, the 2 copies of Goofy was absolutely clutch today. Being able to heal up all my characters and ready them just for that extra protection went so crazy, and it's definitely a great addition into the deck. Any more than 2 could be a little bit risky because sometimes he felt like a bit of a brick, mainly because I didn't need to have damage on my other characters. But one of the games that I played, my opponent had quite a large board state. They were playing an Emerald Amber aggro deck, and I ended up having to be the one that was challenging because they were far quicker than me. But because I had Calhoun on the board and other challenging characters, I was able to wipe their board. I had damage on all my characters, put down the Goofy, and then at the end of the turn, I was able to wipe all my damage, ready all my characters, which completely took the game for me. 4 copies of Rapunzel as a standard. It's our additional draw engine for the game. A lot of people make the mistake of not utilising their Rapunzel correctly. I hear so many people complaining, going, "Oh, I don't need Rapunzel in my deck, she doesn't do anything, I never find an opportunity to heal from her." The thing is, with decks like this, you need to make the opportunity. People know Rapunzel are in the Amber Steel deck. They're not going to willingly leave damage on, which is why you need to make smart challenges, get the damage on your characters, and then heal with Rapunzel. A great idea of this is using either the Lawrences or the Daisy. With Daisy, I don't often like giving my opponent additional cards, so sometimes I'll leave my Daisy non-exerted and then wait till I have an opportunity to challenge, get the damage stack up on Daisy, hopefully by going into a crab or something similar, and then I can use the Rapunzel to draw 3 cards off it, which is great for us. We have the Rhino shift line. I only got Rhino out twice today, which I was a little bit disappointed with. It's a really great card and I do want to utilise it more. It's really useful because it's so hard to get rid of, but the issue for me was my games were actually just over that quickly that there wasn't really a need. Like I say, I tend to ink the 1-cost Rhino straight away. There was an argument that I could have kept some of the bigger Rhinos in my hand to force plays and get the shift line, utilise it better, but for me I wanted to prioritise my ladies and my other smaller characters so I could fill up the board presence. To me, with this deck, the best way to win is board presence. And then for our songs, we're running 4 copies of Let the Storm Rage On, which is the additional draw, and then also 4 copies of Strength for a Raging Fire. Strength goes so clutch in this deck, mainly because of Lady. Lady allows us to spam the board out, get more characters on there, so we're then able to do more damage onto other characters. Having Cindy non-exerted, waiting for the most valuable time to use her, instead of wasting a quest on her, can really win the game. And so many times today, I was able to wipe the board by utilising Cindy by just waiting and not exerting her when I didn't need to. So regarding game plan for the deck, for me, I always want to be looking out for Lady. That's the clutch card for me. Like I said before, I'm looking for Cindy if I'm on the play, and I'm looking for Daisy if I'm on the draw. From that point on, I want to do the standard 1 into a 2 into a 3. Hopefully that 3 is always going to be Lady. I'm going to send anything back that's not especially useful to me. I'll only keep a song in my hand if I do have Cindy to begin with. Any other time, everything is going back. The main thing for me is turn 1, turn 2, turn 3 Lady, and then being able to get an additional character out. If we are able to do that, I will say most of the times you just straight away win the game. I do want to take a minute to acknowledge my favourite game of the whole day, and I felt so bad for my opponent on this. I generally apologise to him because his luck was just so awful. He was playing a Ruby Amber deck, not the aggro kind that Zach Bivens plays, but the original kind of Mufasa style deck. And it was really cool. I liked the way it worked. It was just, I was a lot quicker than him, so he didn't really get to play. On the first game, I got my board out so heavily. I got 3 ladies back to back, and I was able to stick out a Piglet, a Daisy, and a Smee when I was using the ladies. So he just couldn't really keep up with it. But on the game 2, he had the worst luck I have ever seen in Lorcana, ever. So he played out a Mulan on his turn 1, followed by the Red Flynn Rider, where you get 3 lore at the start of your turn if you have the strongest character on the field. I was in a bit of a tricky situation here because I only had the Cinderella out, and I thought he was going to be able to get a load of lore off Flynn. Luckily, I top decked into the Strength for Rage and Fire. I played out 2 Rhinos on the turn 2, so I had enough characters on the board to sing Strength with Cindy, take out the Flynn, and then his Mulan had 0 strength for the next turn, so couldn't even challenge and take out my Cindy if he wanted to. But the poor guy literally only had Uninkables in his hand, so after his turn 2, he passed turn. On the following turn, he passed turn, and on the following turn, he passed turn. not just not playing a card, but not even inking either. So I asked him if he could take a photo of his hand, just see what was in there, and this is what it looked like. So as you can see, it was awful. That was the quickest game of Lorcana that I've ever played, mainly because I didn't really have to do anything, but a massive shout out to him for being such a good sport, and once again, I feel absolutely awful. Well done though. Right, thanks so much everyone for staying around to the end of the video. I'm just going to ask very, very nicely, we are really growing on the channel. We're up to 127 subscribers now. I've got an outrageous goal of hopefully getting to 500 subscribers by the end of 2025. I think to do that, by the end of this week, we're looking to get to 150. If you guys could hit the subscribe button, that would be amazing for me. If we can get to 150, we're going to be really on target. So please, 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 and thank you, thank you, thank you. But I do really appreciate the support. Obviously, that's the set champs period done now. We don't have any left. So what tournaments are you guys looking forward to? I'd love to hear in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.